Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day? Ain't it a great day?
Hello, everyone. My name's Dean. Let's talk crypto. This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is August 21st, 2025. And many people are so very ready and excited to buy the dip and for the markets to turn around and for, Bitcoin to do whatever they think it's going to do, for Ethereum to do whatever they think it's going to do, for the rest of the cryptocurrency market to finally show signs of a bull market like we know and love. They're waiting for CPI, they're waiting for rate cuts, and they believe truly that this will be the spark that ignites the entire market and finally gives us those gains we know and love that are reminiscent of a crypto bull market. This is why this period right here is the most risky period to buy the dip. This is what I'm going to discuss today. Guys, if that sounds interesting to you, then watch until the very end. Hope everyone's having a great day. So, let's start with Bitcoin. Even my staunchest critics, and there are many, if they're honest, have to admit that this price action looks horrible for bullish continuation. All right? Here, just on the daily time frame, looking at Bitcoin, let's get rid of this stochastic RSI indicator because we're just looking at price action right now. I mean, this looks like it's rolling over. I mean, if you know price action, if you have chart hours, chart experience, you know that this is not good. There's something off about this. It's not your, run of the mill, bull market correction. There's something off about that. That would look very strange, right? You literally see what we call a rollover. A rollover is when a trend loses steam, okay? And this isn't a pure trend, but it's a trend nonetheless. And you can see it quite literally roll over. This is why we discuss or we talk about rounded extremities at tops and bottoms. You tend to see rounded extremities at tops and bottoms. And this looks like it's rounding into a reversal, okay? So that is concerning. But the question is, where does this go to? And I repeat, one of the most impactful or one of the most important things in any trader's psyche is, if they know, whether they realize it or not, is their high time frame trade thesis. It's their larger trade thesis. So for instance, you're in crypto, you're watching this video because you have a high time frame thesis that crypto's going to do something, it's going places. And it's not just going to go sideways forever, it's not just going to go down forever, and at some point in time, it's going to greatly outperform fiat. So you think it's a wise decision to invest your hard-earned fiat currency into the cryptocurrency market. That's your high time frame thesis. Whether you've been in the market for a month or a year or 10 years, that's why you're here. It informs your smaller theses. It's the reason why you're here. In the same way, people will look to try and buy every single last bounce, every single last interwave consolidation because they're under the impression that the bull market ends in Q4. I've heard it so many times. The cycle theory and bull market ends Q4 and we just have to put in one more leg and everybody's going to sell in that one more leg. That is extremely dangerous because it informs all your trade decisions on the smaller time frame. So you start looking at all the price action through that lens of I don't know what's happening, fine, right now on the smaller time frame, but whether you accept it or not, whether they accept it or not, they're of the strong belief that something's going to happen and it's just going to turn around any minute now. The idea that this can keep going and keep going and keep going down to levels they've never really even considered is out of their frame of reference. It's not even there. This is when you really get hit. Okay, this is, and I'm speaking from experience. It when it happens, and a lot of times these capitulative retests. I remember, the 20 was it 20? I think it was 2020. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it. I had no idea. I didn't see it. It wasn't even in my frame of reference. I didn't see it coming. And yes, I wasn't the best analyst at that point in time, but I didn't see it. So even after it happened, it wasn't like, oh man, that was like, I considered it, but then I was like, nah, it came out of the blue. It's going to be like that for most market participants. It's not even within their frame of reference. It's going to be such a surprise, such a shock. And it's going to be like that, not just for individuals, but also for governments, for large entities, right? For hedge funds. This is what you tend to see. Again, refer to 2010, 2015, 2020. We've had capitulative retests of 60 to 90% in each one of those years. I do not believe that 2025 will be any different. Why are they 5 years apart? I have no idea. But that's what the charts are saying. Okay? So the idea of buying the dip in such a move can be risky. You can imagine why, right? You're getting in front of a steaming, or you're getting in front of a freight train, right? It's going to have momentum. Although on the smaller time frames, you don't see any evidence of that momentum. And this is typically what you see in the beginning of these moves. People in the cryptocurrency market right now that are interested in Bitcoin, interested in, Ethereum, interested in other altcoins are like, well, we've been going down for like a week now, and it seems like that's a week, 8 days. It seems long enough. This must be where we reverse. Look here. We see triple bottom, 1, 2, 3. I like that. You just make stuff up. I've been there. You make stuff up. You conform, like you take what you see and you start creating reversal narratives. And people will do this all the way down. The only time they won't do it is when the market doesn't give them time to do it. Trust me, the reversal will be clean and clear. But it's not going to be, right, some very slow, drawn out consolidation that all of a sudden shows massive strength. That's not usually how these reversals work. Reversals, before they make big reversals, right, before the big reversal, tend to drop into strong levels of demand. You need a strong level of demand, and that strong level of demand is unquestionable. Once it hits, everybody and their mother knows that is strong demand, that's strong support. So, first and foremost, looking at Bitcoin, people are going to try and buy the dip prematurely only because they simply do not appreciate how low this can go. Okay? Even though the technicals are pretty straightforward, and this is always the case. 2020 was the same. I look back at the chart and I'm like, how did I not see that? It was so obvious. But you don't know what you don't know. When it's when it's not in your frame of reference, it's not in your frame of reference. You don't even know that you don't know it. You don't know what you're ignorant to. They call them unknown unknowns. Okay? But here, I think it's quite clear. Bitcoin is going to likely meet this level between 55 and 60K before experiencing a strong level of support. So I don't know how long it's going to take. Historically, it's only taken, a few weeks at most. Sometimes it only takes historically it takes 3 weeks to a month, and then the lion's share of the move happens within a week. So at some point it just rushes down. But this is one of the ways that people are going to lose a lot and get probably trade themselves out of the market by trying to prematurely buy the dip. This is not a buy the dip type of scenario, at least not in Bitcoin. You want to just sit on your hands and wait. Now, when it comes to altcoins, it's a different story. You can already see that altcoins, generally speaking, let's go back into the main. Altcoins, generally speaking, are very close to they're very close to support. You can just look at the watch lists, right? You see a sea of red. There's not like, it's not deep red, but you can see strength in altcoins, relative strength, right? Altcoins seem to be champing at the bit to just run, right? You can go on smaller time frames and see evidence of that. Like, they have very strong indications that they're close to support in some way, shape, or form, right? This is consolidation, it's corrective price action. It's very tough to read, as hard as it gets in terms of, price action reads, but you can already see it just in the figures, in the watch list, in the change percentage. So if you had to buy the dip, it would be in altcoins, not in Bitcoin. That's number one. Two, there are certain altcoins you would want to focus on and others you wouldn't want to touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm only going to say, out of respect for my clients, the altcoins that you don't want to touch with the 10-foot pole are way off of support. And it's not even a question that they're way off of support. It's an easy, simple read. Just go on the high time frames, eye support and resistance. Those that are way off of support, I wouldn't touch them, because they're probably going to do what Bitcoin does, which is capitulate quite extensively before reaching a level of demand, a strong level of support, and putting in a strong reversal. Now, the altcoins that are close to support, if, say, you bought the dip in those assets, even if you're wrong, even if you buy prematurely, you're so close. It's unlikely that you'll trade yourself out of the market. It's unlikely. Now, obviously, if you're going leverage and you don't manage risk, that's something else. But, we're not. So this is why I'm making this video. It's been quite a while that I know certain people don't understand this, they don't believe this, but we've been going sideways. We've been going sideways for almost a year now, right? This is almost 300 days. I know people think this is the biggest trend they've ever seen in their lives, but this is pretty much just sideways price action. And the result of this is that the rest of the cryptocurrency market hasn't been doing much of anything. So you bought here, you're down a little bit, then you go back up, you go back down, you go back up. It's more annoying than anything else. It's not like you bought and then a big impulse to the downside happened and you're in another stratosphere from where you bought, right? But in this case right here in Bitcoin, and we can, use Bitcoin as an analog to altcoins that are off of support. If you buy the dip here, and then we end up here or here, yeah, that's, I mean, that's a big mistake as far as mistakes go, because you're no longer sideways. You can no longer get away with just buying indiscriminately because you're confined to a sideways range. Right now, it doesn't seem like we're doing much, and people have said Bitcoin's still going sideways, nothing to report here, but look at what the past 8 days have brought. We've been going down in a straight line. I mean, not even 45 degrees, it's more acute than that, for 8 days now. And it hasn't even gotten really, really bad, because right here, you're still holding support of this M top. This breaks, then you go straight to 100K. And what do you do at 100K? Do you bounce or do you continue? I'm pretty sure you're going to show some kind of consolidation. How many people are going to think that consolidation at 100K is a reversal taking place? You know, I do think, just my own opinion, that we come down to the 100K level and then put in a intrawave reversal, retesting the bottom of this M top right here as resistance, and then you get your nice head and shoulders bearish reversal pattern. I do think that happens. But that aside, how many people are going to think that this is it, and then they're going to go long and then swing failure pattern, right? So just be extremely careful. Again, because if you choose altcoins that are way off of support, you might enjoy a slight move up, but then you may not be prepared for what comes next. Okay? So this is kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'm not, again, out of respect for my clients, going to go too deep into, you know, the altcoins that are on support, those that are off support, levels to buy, all that stuff. If you're interested in that, you know, you can sign up for the crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service. I will be publishing an update for targets in the coming days. But yeah, that's what we do over there, and we help you choose specific altcoins that are on support, that are likely to yield consistent upside gains in the bull market. And some are not even close to doing that. I mean, not even close, even after a big capitulation. Okay, so last but not least, let's look at the total 3. Okay, so the total 3 again represents altcoins in general, right? Total 3 is all altcoins minus Ethereum. You will experience, more likely than not, a bounce at this level. Okay, here you have, again, a larger M-top pattern, and I do believe that altcoins do dump a little bit here, but then come up. That is still not the best place to buy the dip, right? If I had to give any kind of advice with respect to altcoins, just wait until these total 3 charts, total 2 if you use it, but I think total 3 is more accurate. I'll say that. I won't substantiate that. I won't substantiate that opinion, but let me just say, it is my strong belief that the total 3 is the way more accurate chart at this point in time. So if the total 3 has yet to reach its final level of support, I wouldn't really be in buy the dip mode, because, you know, it has a little more to go. And once it breaks right here, we're still at the neckline of this head and shoulders bearish reversal pattern right here. Once it really breaks that, we should see stronger, faster moves. Those stronger, faster moves should make quick work of this retracement back down to support. So it's all about support and resistance. It's, you know, technicals 101. Just look at support and resistance, buy support, sell resistance. That's it. That's as simple as it gets, right? Use the total 3 as an analog. Obviously, There will be some assets that move before the total three bottoms, and there will be some assets that move way after it. But generally speaking, the total three is a good analog. Quick peek at the Bitcoin dominance chart before we go. Bitcoin dominance is still at the bottom, right where we left it, but still showing massive signs of consolidation. This right here is quite clearly more and more every day, and it seems not to move from this consolidation level. This seems to be an accumulation, meaning a consolidation that's going to break to the upside. Remember, when your consolidation or when your Bitcoin dominance goes up, that means the rest of the cryptocurrency market goes down. This is what you should expect. And our ultimate target for the Bitcoin dominance going up in this move is the midline of this 760 plus day channel. So that's another indication to buy the dip. But anything prior to that, you're just going to get more dips, in my opinion, generally speaking, not for every asset, but generally speaking, because Bitcoin dominance is showing you that the dipping's not finished. So just be careful during this time. Again, if you want to trade with me in my trading group, crypto portfolio mentorship and consultation service, you can sign up for that at the pinned comment below. If you would like a single asset analysis from me, just one asset, no continuous support, no nothing, just, tell me what to analyze, give me the chart, and in 24 hours, I'll have that back to you. You can send payment, and, I'll have that to you within the day. That is also, information about that is also in the pinned comment. And consider my Bitcoin, my BTCC exchange partners deal. Right now, if you're new to BTCC, the longest running exchange in all of cryptocurrency, and you make a deposit of at least 500 USDT or the equivalent, you can get 10% cash back. All you have to do is trade either once in futures or in spot, and then just hold the money on the exchange, and within 7 days you'll get your cash back. So you can sign up to that at the pinned comment below. Guys, hope this was good. See you tomorrow. Bye.
My prevalent time slot, I vocalize, too deep to localize, even when I'm right on the surface. You act surprised how I work this, but I can't lie. Many a good alibi. I'll catch you later.
Visions are vividly enhanced with emphasis and amethyst to develop morale advantages which help us manifest magnanimous. We body vitals like evangelists. So listen when you're dealing with people who be revealing premonitions with precision. At least that's what I'm aiming at for now. I speak the language of the world, meandering throughout the crowd. Used to feel safe to say anything, but now it's a risk. It's hard for me to let go when all I can do is reminisce. Gone like the wind, here's where I begin. Should I smile or should I grin what's happening?